have to, they're going to use lethal force. I've given the okay. Yeah, if they have to, I hope they don't have to.
And Trump authorizes use of lethal force against migrants if necessary. Another 35 people have been killed in northwest Pakistan following an explosion at an open-air food market. Dozens more are injured. The attack happened at around the same time as the assault on the Chinese consulate in Karachi. A suicide bomber drove a motorcycle into a crowd in the region of Orakzai before detonating his explosives. Victims were attending a festival and market that attracts people from different religious communities. No group has claimed responsibility. Orakzai was formerly a semi-autonomous part of Pakistan's ethnic Pashtun tribal area along the Afghan border. Locally, day trippers are using the mega bridge from Macau and Zhuhai. They are complaining about the lack of shops at the Hong Kong port facility. The government promised that more shops will be available soon. Christy Leung with the details.
Be aware of a new ticketing arrangement which begins tomorrow. People traveling from Zhuhai to Hong Kong via the Mega Bridge will have to buy tickets for shuttle bus or gold bus in advance. After making a purchase using the super app WeChat, the tickets can be retrieved with a QR code at the Zhuhai port area. Passengers can only buy 10 tickets per purchase. The new arrangement is to avoid overwhelming crowds waiting for shuttle buses during particular time slots. But despite making it more convenient to buy bus tickets, some visitors were disappointed upon their arrival in Hong Kong. I just got off from the bus. Don't know where to go to get coffee, said this visitor from Zhuhai. At least 2 shops are vacant at the arrival hall and other 6 empty shops at the departure hall. A fast food shop, a convenience store and a Hong Kong-style diner are the only 3 shops that are up and running. Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Edward Yao said more shops at the passenger clearance building will be available for lease by the end of this month. He added in short term there will be pop-up stores selling souvenirs or snacks. One lawmaker slammed the government for acting too slowly and leaving the stores idle for nearly a month since the bridge opened.
If the mainland tourists they could do their shopping at the Hong Kong checkpoint, they don't need to travel to Tung Chung or anywhere else.
Meanwhile, visitors coming via the bridge can look forward to a faster ride to other parts of the city. The Transport Department announced 8 airport bus routes will be rerouted via the new Southern Connection, linking Chap Lap Kok and Tuen Mun. The journey time is expected to be reduced by 4 minutes. Christy Leung, TVB News.
City leaders and dignitaries have been paying final respects to Hong Kong's first Chief Executive Council convener after the handover. The funeral of Chung Si-yun was held this morning at the Hong Kong Funeral Home in North Point. Among the pallbearers were Chief Executive Carrie Lam, former Chief Executive Tung Chee-hwa and Leung Chun-ying, and veteran politician Alan Lee, Chung's longtime protege. Commonly known as the godfather of Hong Kong politics, Chung died last Wednesday at the age of 101. His remains have been taken to Cape Collinson Crematorium.
3 people were treated for smoke inhalation this morning after a fire in Sham Shui Po. The incident happened at around 9 a.m. in a residential unit on Fook Wing Street. Firefighters used 1 jet and mobilized 1 breathing apparatus team to fight the blaze. The fire was put out in around 20 minutes. Around 30 people were evacuated because of the incident. The 3 people that felt unwell were sent to Caritas Medical Center. Sources say the fire originated from a refrigerator inside the unit.
Overseas again, Samsung Electronics is apologizing for failing to create a safe working environment at its computer chip and display factories. The public apology comes weeks after the South Korean conglomerate agreed to accept compensation terms suggested by a mediator at an event attended by relatives of the workers and activists. Samsung officials admitted the company failed to sufficiently manage health threats at its semiconductor and liquid crystal display manufacturing lines. Reports over the past decade say dozens of Samsung employees experienced grave illnesses such as leukemia and brain tumors. The decade-long standoff between Samsung and a group representing ailing workers began in 2007.
U.S. President Donald Trump lauded U.S. troops during the Thanksgiving holiday and stirred up a bit of controversy doing so. This comes as two celebrity chefs served up Thanksgiving meals to those affected by the California wildfires. President Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving morning with members of the Coast Guard near his Palm Beach home in Florida. Then he took time to call the troops overseas in Afghanistan.
And thank all the men and women with you, really spectacular people.
His Thanksgiving message turned political when he was asked if troops should use deadly force to stop migrants from sneaking into the U.S. border.
If they have to, they're going to use lethal force. I've given the okay. Yeah, if they have to, I hope they don't have to. But you know, you're dealing with a minimum of 500 serious criminals. So I'm not going to let the military be taken advantage of.
Video was captured of American troops celebrating Thanksgiving around the world, including in Romania. Soldiers got to enjoy a full Thanksgiving feast in Germany as well. Back in Florida, President Trump and his family closed out the holiday by sharing their Thanksgiving meal with several hundred members and guests at his Mar-a-Lago resort. Because Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks for your blessings, celebrity chefs Jose Andres and Guy Fieri did just that in Chico, California. Their nonprofit World Central Kitchen teamed up with others to serve 15,000 meals in communities like Paradise that were decimated by the California wildfires.
Heartbreak and the pain, I can't even imagine. I mean, we were evacuated, and that was crazy for us. And to think of losing your home, to think of losing your kids' baby pictures, to go through all, I can't even comprehend it. But I think one thing that kind of everybody gets a little comfort, I think that's why we call it comfort food, it helps people kind of feel a little bit better, is food.
And still to come in our newscast, a preview of some key mayoral elections in Taiwan tomorrow. Theresa May attempts to win support in Parliament for her Brexit deal.
Welcome back to TVB News. The countdown is on to Sunday's Legislative Council Kowloon West by-election. We've been profiling one candidate a night this week. This evening, Caleb Leung tells us more about Chan Hoi-yen, who says social issues should take priority over political ones.
Former principal officials often rally for Chan Hoi-yen. She worked as a political assistant in the last administration after leaving the media. Ask 10 people if they care more about legislating Article 23 or housing, their answers will explain why I insist on sorting out social issues first. I'm all about aiding the grassroots and middle class, helping teenagers realize their dreams, and restoring the dignity of the elderly, she said. Former reporter claims she never joined any political parties. Opponents have long accused her of hiding her pro-establishment affiliation. To that, Chen explained she needed time to search for supporters across the political spectrum. For now, the first-time candidate is concerned with how she can convince voters when up against competition from others with rich community work experience in the area. Dick Hay, Judy Zheng, Lee Cheuk-yen, and Frederick Fung make up the other 4 runners in this race. Caleb Leung, TVB News.
Taiwan is gearing up for elections too. Voters go to the polls tomorrow to elect mayors for the island's biggest cities. Sharon Tang tells us more.
Kaohsiung is deemed the battlefield of this election. Many claim the intensity of the race between the blue and green camps, Taiwan's opposition and ruling parties, would be one of a kind. Candidates held campaign rallies today, including Kuomintang's or KMT's Han Kuo-yu.
如果我能当上高雄市市长，
The former legislator vows to revive the city's economy and hopes for no more divisions. Also taking to the streets was Democratic Progressive Party's Chen Chi-mai. Kaohsiung has been a DPP stronghold for 20 years, but it faces immense pressure in this mayoral race.
那我要超越花妈。
Chen also pledged to win votes in his hometown. Over to the island's largest city of Taipei, where incumbent Mayor Ko Wen-je seeks re-election. The former doctor faces challenges from both the KMT's Ting Shou-chung and DPP's Yao Wen-chi. There is speculation that Ko and Tin have a 50-50 chance to win Taipei's mayoral election, with Beijing cutting the number of Chinese tourists to Taiwan and barring the island from multinational forums to further its diplomatic isolation. The China factor has added weight to the polls. Here's an expert's view on why this election is significant.
Between the blue and green, we see highly likely that a change of vote, not necessarily challenge the current president, but it will have a indication for the presidential election just 13 months away. So it is more important than the usual local elections.
Analysts also see tomorrow's election partly as a referendum on the performance of independence-leaning President Tsai Ing-wen. Sharon Tang, TVB News.
Overseas again, British Prime Minister Theresa May is defending the draft Brexit agreement between London and the European Union. The deal is being widely slammed by skeptical lawmakers on both ends of the political spectrum.
The future relationship we have set out in the political declaration ends free movement, ends sending vast sums of money to the European Union every year, and ends the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice here in the United Kingdom. It enables us to hold an independent trade policy and to negotiate trade deals around the whole of the world.
Many lawmakers, including some in May's ruling Conservative Party, are unconvinced. The leader of the opposition Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, says the deal represents the worst of all worlds. The deal is expected to be endorsed at an EU summit on Sunday.